So if you pay attention to those two people that are on that picture, one of the managers is winning in that moment. One of the managers winning. The question is that, can you tell who it is? Hello, guys. Welcome back to another video. This is the Football Connect. I'm your host, Sam, and we are back again with another one. As Manchester United were taught or were schooled, they had to go to school at their own home ground. You know, when you read the title of this one, I said, "You never won't walk alone at Old Trafford," because I could hear this song being sang almost since the 65th minute of the game against Manchester United at Old Trafford. The Liverpool fans were singing, "You never walk alone." And that, for me, it's an embarrassment, to be honest. It's an embarrassment. You never want to see your rival singing their song, their home song, at your own home ground, in your own backyard. That shows you how comfortable Liverpool were in Old Trafford. That shows you how they were comfortable to play the long game. When I said the long game, I'm going to explain, because so many people don't really understand. Because when you look at the stats and you look at how the game went on, like, it'll confuse you a bit, but that's how Arne Slot's team actually attacked. This was a situation that I call beat you at your own game. That's exactly what Liverpool did, because in the past, we have not really done something like this, but that's exactly how the new manager was really comfortable with what happened, because it's crazy. So in this video, of course, we are here on this live stream. We are revealing every games which were played this week. First, looking at the Arsenal game versus Brighton. I think, let me just put it on the screen so that you see what I'm talking about. So we're going to be looking at all the games which were played. Firstly, as you can see on my screen, Arsenal versus Brighton. We're going to be looking at Brentford versus Newcastle. It finished by 3-1, of course. Then we have Everton versus Bournemouth, which finished 2-3. And we have Ipswich versus Fulham, which was a 1-1 draw. Leicester versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa won by 2-1. Nottingham Forest versus Wolves, which was a draw as well. West Ham versus Man City, which finished 3-1, a hat-trick. A back-to-back hat-trick for Haaland, as well as a 1-1 draw between Crystal Palace and Chelsea. Newcastle 2, Tottenham Hotspurs 1. A game that always offers goals. Everything like this will make sense, people. I'll show you. Then the last one, and the game that we're starting with, and that's why Mohamed Salah is on the screen. Manchester United 0, Liverpool 3. The game that concluded the week, and that concluded everything that we were excited about when it comes to the football game and everything that we want to talk about. So, like I was saying, that picture there that you can still see, that is just very, very close there. One of the managers winning there. One of the managers winning there. But you cannot see it. That's the thing with the Arne Slot. It seems like it's a manager who just, it's so quiet. He enjoys to do his business behind the scene, and people sometimes don't even know if he's happy or not. This manager is going to be a surprise. I'm telling you, people. What he's doing in the Premier League is really living. I think he's already making history. He's not a Jurgen Klopp, of course. He's not a guy who's going to be jumping around and we'll be excited, hitting the chest and stuff like that. But he does his job and gets the job done, and back to business. According to James Pierce, if you have time, go read this report on the Athletic talking about Liverpool versus Manchester United and how Arne Slot is all about business and the only focus is on business. So let's talk about stats first. Let's talk about how the stats of this game was like and exactly what happened, because I think this is really important to give us an idea over what was happening. In terms of position, Manchester United actually had ball control. They were controlling this game in about, not really ball control, they actually had more position. And sometimes you have to understand this, people. Having more position doesn't always mean that you actually had the control of the game. It's something that we've actually now I'm actually starting to learn in a more open way, because of looking at how the games was played between the Arne Slot versus Liverpool. I think you can see that the Dutch manager, he's willing to do anything it takes to get the job done. If it is to give away the position, to give away the control of the game, just for him to get the victory, he's comfortable with it. No problems with him. That's why you'll be surprised. It was 52 to 47% in terms of control, or in terms of position of the game. Shots on target 3-3. That's a draw. But in out of those three, Liverpool scored how many of the goals that they scored? They scored 3. So all those goals that Liverpool had on target were all goals, which makes you wonder how good of a goalkeeper is Andre Onana, to be honest. If a team have 3 shots on target and all those 3 shots are goals, what does that mean for the goalkeeper? As well as 11 shots to 8 in terms of the other shots which were not actually going on target, but maybe being deflected out of the post, or maybe just passing a bit close to the post, and maybe somewhere in the air. We did see those PA shots, by the way. We did. And touches, like I'm saying, 695 to 655. That's how Eric Ten Hag's United were in control of the ball. Touches were given more to have. The passes as well, it was about 507 to 464. Tackles 32 to 24. Clearance 10 to 28 clearance. Corner kicks 5 to United to 2 of Liverpool. Offsides 2 of Liverpool, as well as yellow cards 4 of United to 1 of Liverpool. 7-7 foul. It was an interesting game. So you might wonder yourself, how is that a team that looked like was really in control in terms of the position? That looks like everything was moving so well. How did they lose again? How did they lose this game? How does that even make sense looking at what they actually did on the pitch, looking at how they were controlling everything? How did they lose the game? Well, I'm going to try to show you, because like I'm saying, Liverpool gave United the position of the game. They were controlling the game, but because of the control that they had of the game, in terms of the passes, in terms of the touches, look where those touches were actually taking place. Look at what I've just put on the screen, because I think it gives you an idea over what Liverpool were actually doing and how they were controlling the game. So these are the passes of all what United did. This is the whole entire game. These are all the 600 and what? It's around the 695 touches that United had of the ball in this game. And it's really important to look, because the red symbolizes the unsuccessful passes and the green symbolizes the successful passes, which means that where they were actually having the greatest of control over where the game was moving, where the passes and where the movement of the games were going. And look at where they were having actually this. So I'm going to put on the first half side so that you look at how the game was like. So this is where Andre Onana was, of course. Look at where the green touches are, and look where they end when we come to the 18 area of Liverpool. I can count how many successful passes which they were able to do in the 18 area. This is from Garnacho when he was trying to pass, and I think there was a touch of what's his name, Zirkzee, and the Liverpool were able to take it away from Zirkzee, that touch, which is here. The other one here was from Bruno Fernandes. I think he was passing. I don't remember who he was passing to. The other one was from Garnacho, who passed it backwards because he had no one to give. So this was a pass going backwards. The other one was, I think, this one, which was done 2 minutes ago. I think that was in the first half when they started with so much control and they were trying to run the game. But all in all, that was it. That was it. 3 minutes from Garnacho, and that was it. No any passes again, which happened in the 18 of area, which were of Liverpool, which were successful from United. All their successful passes, when you look at the area of concentration, they all start from the line of the 18 area going back to the side of United. So Liverpool were comfortable to allow United to have control over the game, or to have passes, to have touches, to have control of the ball in the side of their side. They didn't want them to go to the other side of Liverpool. And I think that was the beauty of the whole entire game, to be honest. Because if I remove the unsuccessful passes from this list, you can still see, and I think I need to remove that one as well, all the unsuccessful passes, so that you get to see exactly what all the successful passes were like from United. Look at the ones that are actually supposed to be in the 18 area of Liverpool. Look at that. That shows you the area of dominating, how Liverpool were resilient, not allowing them to do anything on their side. Because if I do this and I click of Liverpool, the short amount of passes that Liverpool had, and you can see how they were controlling the game. Because look at the passes as well. This, by the way, is still in the 18 area. This is still the first half of the game. So look at how the movement of the games, and look at the successful passes. This is not even me including some of the unsuccessful passes. Look how many are in the 18 area of United. There is a pass from Andy Robertson. There is a Mohamed Salah. There is another one here from Salah. This was a pass to a goal. This was another pass to a goal. This also was Ryan Gravenberch doing some successful passes in the 18 area. You can see that they had more control over the 18 area of United. Let's move into the second half. What happened in the second half? Look again how Liverpool kept on controlling and having joy in terms of their good passes in the 18 area of United, in which when I vice versa, put it back to United, you can see that they had more joy. But if you look at the passes that were happening, these were in the last minute. And if we remember the game, Liverpool actually went out of the game in those times. It was United trying to break down, trying to do as much as they can, but Liverpool were no longer in the game. And that's it. That's how the game was like. And you wonder what exactly this team has to do to find what we call control, to find how this manager is so comfortable to allow his team to not really care about having control of the game, but knowing that everything he's doing, he stops the opponent from actually having so much good passes, which can cause chaos in the 18 area. And I think that's what we saw from the manager of Liverpool, because that's exactly how we did in this game. But of course, there are some stats that we need to talk about as well, included in this game, which is really important, because it was not only a 3-0 win. And I think this is really important for people to understand. There is a lot of things that happen in this game. So we're going to start again. So this is Arne Slot's, the second game. Third game of the new season. And this is the only manager who has not been scored a goal in the Premier League. He was next to Mikel Arteta, but Mikel Arteta was scored a goal against Brighton at his own home ground. So, of course, that actually takes him out of the tournament. So it is really interesting to see how the situation is playing out. So Arne Slot becomes the third manager to win each of his first 3 games without conceding, after 7th gone. Of course, the former manager who just passed away, the former England manager who just passed away, and of course, Jose Mourinho's team of 2004. And we all know what that Jose Mourinho team was able to do. We all know what they were able to achieve. So Arne Slot's era at Liverpool has started very well, with 3 games from the 3 Premier League, including an away game against Manchester United, their biggest rival, of course, this week. They haven't even considered a goal yet. Of course, it has to be said that the Slot start has been on the kinder side, with Liverpool opening 5 games deemed to be the easiest when analyzed in the Premier League fixtures ahead of mid. I think this MD means, I think they're talking about the international break that we're just going into. I think Liverpool's next 3 fixtures in the Premier League see them playing against Nottingham Forest home, Bournemouth home, and Wolverhampton away. A winnable trillion of games on paper. At least should Slot lead Liverpool to victory in all of those 3, on all 3 of those matches. He will equal the best Premier League winning run by a manager at the start of his career in the competition, currently shared between Ancelotti and Pep Guardiola. Ancelotti has 6. I think that has to be maybe in his AC Milan team as well as Pep Guardiola. We do have Craig Shakespeare, by the way, who passed away earlier this year, as well as Mauricio Sarri, and we have Jose Mourinho. Oh, this is in the Premier League, so of course this has to be Pep Guardiola's City. Oh, Ancelotti's Chelsea, I think. Pep Guardiola's City, as well as this was, I think, Leicester of Shakespeare. Then we have Mauricio Sarri, Chelsea, of course, Jose Mourinho, and of course, I think this was Chelsea as well. Or maybe even United, you never know. But I think this was Chelsea. Slot will still have to go 9 more games without a Premier League defeat to equal the Premier League's best ever unbeaten start by a coach. Maurizio Sarri enjoyed a 12-game unbeaten run to life as a Premier League manager in 2018-2019 when he began his stint at Chelsea as a Chelsea boss with 8 wins, 4 draws that took over Frank Clark's record of 1994, which was an 11-game unbeaten run as Nottingham Forest manager. More recently, Ange Postecoglou started a very well at Tottenham last season after taking over, winning 8 games and drawing 2 of his last 10 games as a Premier League manager before injuries and suspension began to pile up, and Spurs eventually finished 5th in the tournament. So this is the list of managers who have gone far without actually losing a game. Jose Mourinho, of course, is there. Thomas Tuchel is there with 10. Postecoglou is there with 10. Frank Clark with 11, as well as Mauricio Sarri. So what can Slot do to actually find himself in this history of some great managers? It's going to be interesting to see. Of course, we cannot say so much because he's just starting, and I think there's still so much that we can see from this manager. But over the game, when we look at the game, really, to be honest, we can all smile because everything he has offered with Liverpool, everything he has been doing really shows us that this is a manager who only means business. He's not here to play around. He's not here to play being sister and be friendly with people. He wants to win games. And his control, not allowing the teams to actually take advantage or even cause chaos. That shows you how far Arne Slot wants to go. Of course, I was listening to Talk Sports again, people, and so many of the United pundits, they're not going to jump up into this excitement that people are going over Arne Slot's beginning in the Premier League and how he's controlling the games and how he's winning the games, because according to them, they still feel like he has not built his own team. He's just doing this under Klopp's team, and this is a bigger team, a stronger team that gives him the advantage to do what he's doing. Of course, you'd understand when you really think about it that maybe he's taking advantage of somebody who had set up a good team. And I think he even said it himself, the manager, that this is a good squad and I don't really have to do so much because I have all the players that I need to actually start in the Premier League. But that does not take away the fact that he has changed the way the team plays. And according to the stats, Alisson has only faced 7 shots. Only 7 shots. If you remember last season or under Jurgen Klopp, if you remember, it's so clear. I think every single game we had started to play, we had to be scored first. Liverpool had to be scored first before they can actually get into the game. He has a manager who's playing a double pivot, who's controlling the game, and he wants his team to have advantage over how they approach the games and how they take advantage of the teams, and it's giving him victory. It's giving him amazing victory, and it's controlling everything that is doing. So I get it, not trying to give him the praise yet. I get that. I get that side of the game, but also you have to really look at the fact that he's doing something amazing in that even as the fans of Liverpool, I'm not even sure if we should be celebrating or just observing, because we don't know how far we're gonna go and how far this good start that this manager has shown will go. But we're gonna be seated in it and we're gonna be enjoying it. So I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. So do me a favor, click the like button, always important. Subscribe to the Connect, the best way you can support us. And also go check out the Football Connect LFC. That's the channel that is there, people, that is appearing there. If you type at TFC LFC right now on your YouTube. It'll take you automatically to there and go click the like button, or maybe you can just enter into this page after this video. Then you go subscribe to it. It's always important, people. You're gonna be seeing more Liverpool related content there, especially during the international break. I have to remake my predictions after all the predictions were done and everything that was done. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. So what did you think of Liverpool versus United? Do you think that Liverpool were really in control? Do you think that maybe it was a game that was way different than you predicted, as maybe a supporter of United as well as a supporter of any other rival team? Did you think that Slot had what it takes to actually dominate and go into a game and school Manchester United in terms of how to play the game, how to control the teams, and how to take advantage of the opportunities which were opening and allow United to have the game? Because like I was saying, United were beat at their own game. Liverpool, if you have checked of years, they've always tried to have control over the United game. They've always tried to cause chaos. They've always tried to put so much pressure so that the game looks like it's always difficult for them to have advantage over how the game is actually approached. But yet, here's a manager who's so comfortable in allowing the rivals, which is the team, to have control over the game. And in that process of them thinking that they're controlling the game with the passes that I've just shown you on the screen and everything that is happening, he takes advantage and hit the teams. Of course, all the goals came out from mistakes, according to some people who wanted to make it clear that every goal that Liverpool scored came out of a mistake. I get it. If that is going to help you sleep at night, then cool. We understand, we accept it. But it doesn't matter what you're going to say, people, because at the end of the day, Liverpool came into this fixture not being rooted as one of is to have advantage to win, being told that since Eric Ten Hag came into, of course, we have beaten him at Anfield by 7-0, but since he has come, he has not allowed Liverpool a chance to beat his Manchester United team. And he came in with his own ways, allowed this team not putting pressure, winning the ball, and they're doing as much as he can in terms of controlling. And we beat them. Remember, I told you that Klopp's type of game is about that rock and roll, that high press and never stopping. Arne Slot is comfortable holding the ball, hitting the team with passes, making sure that he opens up the whole entire game and hit the team and beat them, no matter whatever that happens. Is comfortable with this, and it looks like he actually loves it to have control over the game and actually beat the team with everything that it does. And it's amazing, and I'm really excited to see how far that will go. But also you have to understand, and this I think is really important, he also have to find the best way to open up teams. United can also be one of those teams that wants to defend against close games, and we've seen it. We once went there and we finished 0-0 and we could not break them down the way 12 men behind the game. But this was him, honestly. He was like, no, I'm gonna be doing some one touches, and we saw them, some one touches that passing through the players like they were just standing, and he was doing it for such a long time. So that tells you that as much as you try to look elsewhere and you try to say that he did not deserve that, he still hasn't proven himself. That's a pretty good victory. That's a pretty good control over what he did. Of course, he becomes the second manager to beat Manchester United at the club. The first one was Sir Bobby Paisley. And if you look at when he did it, it was actually at Anfield, never at Old Trafford. His first win at United was at Anfield. This guy went and did it at Old Trafford and actually kept a clean sheet in the game. So there's a lot of things to be smiling about when it comes to what this manager of Liverpool is doing. But I'm excited. Let's see how far we go. And you can help me by clicking the like button, by subscribing to the Connect. And I think that is the best way you can support us as we move on to the other games which were played this week. Of course, people, it was not only the Liverpool game that we had to watch. We also had other games which kept us really entertained. And of course, now looking at everything that we've talked, we have to go talk about the Arsenal game against, what was that team? Arsenal versus Brighton, as this was one of the most controversial games because of the yellow card, because of the red card. Declan Rice, red card. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? He got it. This was at 41. He got his first yellow, and at 49, just 9 minutes. Even though there is a halftime break in the middle, just 9 minutes, and this man was out of the pitch. What do you think of the red card which was given to Declan Rice? Let's look at the games in terms of the stats. By the way, it's always important to do so. So Brighton ended up having so much control of the game because Arsenal were a man down. Of course, it makes sense, especially in the second half. Still 7 shots on target by Arsenal were the most they should have scored and should have won this game. They had so many times when they were hitting this Brighton team on the counter, but they did not take advantage of those counter. Out of 4 shots on target of Brighton, 22 shots, but all those shots were leading to nowhere. 65%. Not really the best. You need, if you're going to have control over the games, these are the games you have to take advantage of. You have to show something like you mean how to get the best out of the game. And I think we did not see it here in the game. And maybe that's why we said that as much as they did so well, they did not offer enough. In my case, they did not offer enough for us to be saying, okay, they deserve the victory. They didn't. And of course, looking at how the game went on, and looking at how things really turned up, you could say, oh, Arsenal were hard done. Because, of course, people are crying over the red card of Declan Rice. I get it. I've been watching all the goal games, which has been recorded by all the Arsenal fans, and every single one of them are crying. Every single one of them are crying. They feel like they were hard done. They feel like there was no fairness in how the game was shown, and the red card, they still need so much explanation. And I made a video. Go check it out. It's here on the Football Connect, people. It is here. It's literally how many minutes? It's about 10, 20 minutes or something, where I was analyzing how and why Declan Rice deserved the yellow card. And I know people are saying the consistency because we had another player hitting. I get it. That tells you that the referee was wrong. And 2 wrong will never make it right. Today there was ref watch, and Jamie Gallagher confirmed what I was saying. That you might say that Rice did not touch the ball, but his touch took the ball out of the pitch. And taking the ball out of the pitch actually delays, because now the ball has to be taken and put back in the pitch. He touched the ball to take the ball out of the pitch. So he was guilty. Whether you like it or not, he was guilty, and he deserved to actually be taken out. He deserved to be given the red card. He does deserve that. And I think he has to learn, because he is a professional. He's no longer a 17-year-old kid who's still learning his trade. He is a grown-ass man who actually supposed to be held accountable over his decisions. But all in all, that doesn't mean that Arsenal's type of the game actually died out of that game. In fact, if Arsenal were really good, they should have won this game. They should have won this game because they controlled the movement of the game in terms of where Brighton could put pressure, and they should have won this game. And I keep repeating that because it's really important. Because, like I'm saying, of all the control that Brighton had, all that control came only in the second half. All that control came in the second half. And if I'm showing you what I'm going to show you right now here on the screen, you can see what I'm talking about. All that control that Brighton enjoyed in this game, they all came in the second half because everything was in Arsenal's control. So this is what this is where the passes, the successful, the unsuccessful passes of Brighton. Look at how many passes that they had at their own side and how things changed when they went on the other side. No any successful pass. I think it's only one which was hit by João Pedro in the 14th minute, and it went, and I think it touched the player, but that was the only thing. No any other successful passes. All of them, this was in the first half, but look at the second half. how many times they were trying to get into something, but all that they did, the successful passes could not take advantage of the fact that Arsenal were missing. They had all the good passes, the movement, they were actually dominating. There were less and less Arsenal players on that other side and morely in that side in terms of attacking, because this is the pass map and everything which was done. They were also frustrated that they started hitting the balls way too far, and it just did not offer anything out of the game. Look at the key passes that they had in the second half, 41 minutes, and the other one which was actually done in the 96th minute. Those were the only key passes that they had in the whole entire game. And let's look at Arsenal. Like I'm saying, I'm telling you, Arsenal should have won this game. They should have won this game. That's what I think. In the first half, of course, they were limited in doing anything meaningful in terms of actually, they only had one goal, so many unsuccessful passes, but they were also having dominate over the 18 area, as you can see here. This is the 18 area of Brighton. They were having so much, and you can see the pass map. You can see the dominance, the movement of the ball, the passes, the likes of Declan Rice moving with the ball, the likes of Thomas Partey, Martin Odegaard helping out. Arsenal's attack, and we have always come to know this, it's always going to be a right side attack. It's always less when it comes to the left, but more on the right. And we saw that the Saka as well as Ben White were doing as much as they can to try and take advantage of this and try to move off the route. Of course, they're not really a team that is comfortable coming up in the middle of the route, and it was difficult to do so, as you can see here. But now, when you look at in the second half, when they were now in trouble, look at how many chances that they were creating. All the shots were there because they were morely defending. All their hit map was only now behind. There was more defending the whole entire game. They just didn't want to take advantage and open up spaces where Brighton would actually hit them, because Brighton were lethal at some point. It's just that they were not good in actually taking advantage of the chances that they were creating, but they were lethal. Look at how many chances that they were creating. Remember this one, that pass, that successful pass from Kai Havertz, which went to Saka. He kicked and it was saved, as well as that long ball which was taken. I think he actually ran with it and he kicked it here and the keeper was saving. I think one thing that we actually have to give respect to is the goalkeeping things that we saw from the manager, from the Brighton goalkeeper. I think this doesn't show me what I was looking for in terms of the goalkeeper. But one thing you can see, there was direction over what they were trying to show and how they were trying to control the game. The route of the home team, as you can see, Saka was supposed to have received more balls, because you can see it's more into the right, and there was movement between Partey, of course, and the movement here with the likes of Saliba in terms of building up and going with the ball. But that had to change after they got that yellow card, that red card. And look at the passes map of this Brighton team. They wanted to take advantage of the right side, the movement, the likes of how João Pedro's and as well as Matoma were really lethal on this. I felt like they did not use this guy a lot, and I feel like this player is going to be special if they really take advantage of him, because I think they will score so many goals, they will do so much battering to so many teams. But that's just me, I guess. Click the like button, subscribe to the connect. Let me know what you thought of the Arsenal game versus Brighton. What were you expecting, and were you really impressed over what you saw, and what are you looking forward to? Because it's still a long period of time, people. The Premier League is still there, and don't be surprised, a lot of things can still happen here. Because when it comes to us now, I think I'm just going to give you the last thing that I wanted to cover in terms of the reading, which is really important, which is coming from the up top. Looking at this one, let's move on. We are now going to the Arsenal segment. Yeah. We're just coming from Opta. But one thing I want to hear from you, what did you think of today? So, since Boxing Day 2019, Mikel Arteta Mikel Arteta, because he has been the manager of the Arsenal that long, people, you try to take advantage, but since Boxing Day 2019, Arsenal, Mikel Arteta's first game in charge of Arsenal, the Gunners have been shown 16 red cards in the Premier League, at least three more than any other side. Declan Rice was sent off on Saturday for two yellow cards, while there was no doubt that he deserved his first of the his first of his afternoon. Of course, they're talking about the red card, that he deserved it. That tackle, as well as some tackles that he did, as well as delaying the start. He deserved it. It's been confirmed to those people who doesn't want to accept it. His second was slightly more controversial. Of course, they won't try to make it sound like it's crazy and what, but we get it. Either way, it led to the 16th dismissal that Arsenal have had in the Premier League since Mikel Arteta took over. Three more than the next most in the competition in that time. Wolves and Everton have had maybe less than what Mikel Arteta have actually gotten in terms of the red cards with his team. While they are top of the rank in this period, it's slightly unfair on the current Arsenal squad, who have been shown just three red cards in 41 Premier League matches since the start of last season, with seven teams being given more. I think, of course, the likes of Everton and the other ones are given more. Remember, Liverpool also got, I think, we're given, is it two of Curtis Jones and McAllister as well as Jota. So I think we've been given three as well. I'm not sure. We'll find out in terms of that. But yeah, last season we were given so many red cards because of some craziness that was happening in the Premier League. Across the managerial spell of the last 100 games at the club in the Premier League, Arteta averaged a 10.9 game per red card. Is the joint 15th highest, and actually better than the average for Arsenal under Arsene Wenger, which was 10.6 game per red card. You might tell me you understand the odds, people. The manager with the worst record in terms of getting those red cards is actually Mark Hughes of Blackburn, who saw his team receive 21 red cards in 147. Were they actually playing football, or actually they were fighting in the game? I'm curious to hear that from you people. 7 games per red card. That's a crazy odd. Which is the top ahead of Steve Bruce reign at, of course, that team over there, Pegram City, I think, which is 8.7 per red card. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. Did Arsenal deserve the red card that they got? Or maybe you are also on the other side of the controversial. And what do you think this happens? Because this leads so well to the Tottenham game, which we're going to be building next week. Remember, we are in the international break. No football for us this week, people. We'll be back next week with the Premier League football. Of course, it's been exciting 3 games which has been played in the Premier League. Let's see what happens as we move on. So click the like button, subscribe to the Connect, the best way you support us. And let's continue with the show, because we still have so much to talk about as we are moving to the next team, which was, of course, which team was that, people? Which was Brentford versus Southampton. Or maybe let me talk about the Citizen, because I think that was the more interesting game. Haaland having his number 8th hat-trick, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's his number 8th hat-trick. We'll read in terms of those things. He actually is a player who doesn't enjoy touching the ball that much, but he plays in a team that enjoys touching the ball that much, and they have so much dominance, which allows him to finish, because of course you get so many chances. And he has scored his 8th career hat-trick in the Premier League. 24 hat-tricks he has had in his years of being a footballer, and the kid is only 24 years old. 24 years old, so he has a hat-trick for each of the years leading to the 24. And I'm telling you, it doesn't look like he's done. It doesn't look like this is the end of his hat-trick era. I think he's gonna continue with this. I think he's gonna keep dominating, and I think he's gonna keep enjoying having so much hat tricks and actually causing chaos. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. What did you think of the game that Man City played against West Ham? Looking at the game from the point of view of how they were controlling the game as well as actually finishing the chances as on the other side, because Haaland finished the chances. There were also some of the chances that they missed. Of course, we also saw the likes of Mohamed Kudus hitting the post, not actually having chances to actually take advantage, but we saw them in control of the game from start to finish, which is something that is Pep Guardiola like. He enjoys to have control over the teams and actually had the teams on the counters. Because when you look at the stats and how he actually performed in the game, if you look at the game, you can see that everything moved exactly according to plan. 67% in terms of ball control and position and how they was controlling the game. Of course, that's a Pep Guardiola team. What do you expect, really? As well as shots on target, which were 8 on target, 23 shots, 896 touches, as well as passes. And as you can see, passes were about 726. They had everything, 15 tackles, the most, as well as about 18 clearance, with 11 corners, 1 offside, 2 yellow cards as well, 3 fouls. So it was a dominant performance from Man City. They showed what they mean, which is business. I've never seen a Man City side start this high over Pep Guardiola for some time, and you can tell that there is some seriousness over what they want to achieve this season. There is something that they actually after, and now we wonder how far can Pep Guardiola and his team go. If they have started like this, how can they actually cause chaos? Because if they continue doing this, I'm telling you, it's gonna be crazy. It's really gonna be crazy, because also Pep Guardiola keeps making history as Manchester City manager, because according to Opta, they're saying that Pep Guardiola has overtaken Sir Alex Ferguson to set yet another record with West Ham win, which is Pep Guardiola is no stranger to setting records. In his all-time conquering Man City side, becomes the first main team manager to win 4 consecutive Premier League titles last year. They are favourite to extend that to 5 in 2024-2025 season, because of course they are the favourites. They are the favourites. Who do you think really can come close to this Man City team when you look at what they are doing? They are the favourites. I'm trying to put so that you can also read what I'm reading here when it comes to Pep Guardiola and the record he's setting. And his side beating 3-1, or his side winning 3-1 over West Ham on Saturday evening. The Spaniard set yet another record, this time a personal one. Guardiola has made it a record 17th Premier League game against the Hammers without defeat, with 18th Premier League hat-trick, 8th Premier League hat-trick of Haaland, guiding them to another 3 points. So it seems like Man City enjoys to beat the Hammers. They've played, look at how the stats were like, look at how the XG was like, shots, target, position, all these things, we cover them, people. And it gives an idea. The victories means that Guardiola has gone more Premier League games unbeaten against West Ham than any other manager he has played against a specific team without losing. Pep Guardiola has won 15 of those games and drawn only 2, assuming that he is remarkable points, 47 points from the possible 51 against David Moyes, who have only managed to get 2 draws. West Ham manager to take points off Guardiola's seat every time whenever before they met them. Manuel Pellegrini, 3L, Slaven whatever, which is 2L, and Jolan Lopetegui, 1 loss, losing all of their last games to him. He enjoys dominating. As you can see, that 17 from a single team. Pep, the one who comes closest, of course, Sir Alex Ferguson, who has 16 games unbeaten with just a team. And I can see here, you don't even see, Wenger has 14, Guardiola has 12 against Bournemouth. So there is another one, 12 against Burnley as well for Guardiola. Pochettino as well against Jose Mourinho against Burnley as well. So that is an interesting record that this manager set. And in terms of dominance, in terms of how they played the game, I think we all saw it. We saw how they were dominating, how they were causing chaos, and how they took this Western team apart. Haaland, my people. This guy is enjoying to make history like it's just nothing. He's enjoying hurting teams for fun because he does it for fun. That's the only thing I can say. He does it for fun. Whether we like it or not, whether we look at it in a different manner or what, Haaland enjoys making history with Man City because he always finds himself on the winning side every single time he does. And sometimes he doesn't even have to have so many touches in the game. He just have to find one or two and he'll bury them. And that's exactly what he did in this game. His second goal was actually one that people can actually talk about. That shot, the goalkeeper Ariola had to hit the post, but the goal was also in already. That's why he had to be taken out at halftime because he actually picked up a knock trying to save some of the shots that he was facing. Guardiola, Kevin De Bruyne hit the post, and so many players did. The likes of Rico Lewis were playing so well, they were dominating, they were doing as much as they can. But Haaland, my people, Haaland, he's a different beast of an animal, people. So I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. What did you think of Pep Guardiola's performance against the Hammers, and where do you see them going over this season, and how far can they do under the new manager? Of course, they have so many new players who are still trying to gel against each other, who are getting to understand what they want to achieve in terms of the ball position over the performance and everything that they're going to be doing. But as of Pep Guardiola, he is on top of the league and he's running around and setting history here. Maybe in what people are calling it his last season. You never know. But look at what this city is doing. It's going to be exciting to see how far he goes as we look at one of the best games of the week. Yes, people, I said it. One of the best games of the week. Bournemouth versus Everton. This game, if you're ever gonna ask anything that doesn't make sense, is this game, because if you look at everything that happened in this game, how do you lose? How do you lose? Having dominated that game and actually ran and you were leading, how do you lose? How do you lose? That's the only thing I can say. How do you lose? Because that's exactly what happened here in this team. So I'm going to show you some of my thoughts. I'm going to be showing everything that happened in this game because it did not make sense. And up to now, it still doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense. And I'm talking about this after some time of actually taking advantage of sitting down, absorbing everything that happened, and actually noticing that, oh, so this actually happened. This actually happened. This is something that people are going to talk about for years and years to come. How Everton were beaten in the last minute and they had no answer against Bournemouth. Everything that Bournemouth did was okay. They did enough to hurt this team, and they did it in a way that so many people would enjoy and actually smile about, because I have no idea, people. I'm actually trying to look for any story which was written over this game, because that's the only thing I can do, people. Give you what people thought of the story and everything that happened. I still don't have an understanding of how they lost this game. Because to those people who did not watch the game, Everton played against Bournemouth at their home ground, had controlled the game, had domination of the game, did everything to perfection. They were putting pressure. They did everything that they needed to do to get advantage over the game. And yet, I'm here talking about them losing their game because only few minutes was what was needed. I think 9 minutes for the game to move from Everton to the other side. And that's exactly what happened. Few minutes, and I'm going to try to change. In fact, it's 9 minutes, not even few minutes, because according to the match report, because of course there's no any analysis stat over this game, but according to the match report, AFC Bournemouth produced an astonishing late turn around from a 2-0 down to snatch a dramatic 3-2 victory over Everton at Goodison Park. What makes this even worse is the fact that it happened at Goodison Park. And to those who don't know what Goodison Park is, it's the home of Everton. It's the home of Everton, and that's where Bournemouth made history. In the turf, in the home of Everton, they made history in a game that I don't even feel like they deserve to actually win. Michael Keane and Dominic Solanke were on target early in the second half to put the host in control of the game. They scored, I think the first goal was scored in 50 something minutes, and that one was scored later on, I think. Let me just show you. Yeah, 50 and 57. In 7 minutes apart, they scored 2 goals. So it was already a different game. However, they were plagued back late on as Asan Semenyo halved the deflected on the 87th minute before Lewis Cook leveled it up in second minute of stoppage time. Then there was to be another remarkable twist as Louis Sharra's last glimpse header secured all 3 points for I don't even know, Ariola side. Sean Dutch's side made a bright start and carried the greater attacking threat earlier on until I don't really know what to say, people. I'm still struggling to find out how they lost this game. If there was anyone who was actually sitting down watching this game, come explain to me on the connect. Come explain to me how this game was lost. Explain to me how a team that was in control, a team that was running riot, that was everything was moving according to what they wanted, everything was ticking according to their own liking. The movement of the game, how everything happened was all in their liking. How did they lose this game? How did they lose this game? Because if you can explain that, then you have actually answered the greatest mystery of all. Because it doesn't make sense that at the end of the game, they lost this game. But Sean Dutch came out, and I think he's going to live to regret his words. He said that you could feel it in the atmosphere. You could feel it in the atmosphere. So in other words, first he's questioning if the fan base was really on his side in supporting this team. And also he's questioning how the fear was able to move on and actually affected the players. So in other words, we can say that he's questioning the professionalism of these players. That's what he's doing. It doesn't make sense, people. It doesn't make sense. So the game finished, like I'm telling you, it finished 3-2 to Bournemouth, and I still feel up to now that's a game that they should not have lost. Everton. I still feel up to now, even though the game has been played a long time now, I still feel this is a game that they should not have lost. They were in control. They were in cruise control, running riot, controlling every movement of the game. Yet coming out of that game as the losers doesn't make sense. It will never make sense. Whoever comes and says that I'll try to make it make sense, it will never make sense. But that's what happened. And football is full of surprises like that, people. Football is full of surprises like that, people. And we move. We must. As we look at the other games which were played, remember, people, like I told you, there were also other games which were played. Now I'm going to try to do it quickly because the bigger ones, I've covered them. I've talked about them. Southampton, of course, lost to Brentford by 3-0. Buemo scoring 2 goals as well as Wusa scoring the other one. If you put Buemo or Wusa in your team, you are enjoying some amazing points in the FCL. These guys are going to be scoring goals if they're not facing the top teams. Whenever you see them playing with the top teams, remove them. But if they are not, allow them because they will dominate, they will cause chaos. And I think that's what they did. I'm worried for Southampton, though, to be honest. I'm pretty much worried because I feel like they are not showing enough. They are not showing enough in terms of what they want to achieve in the game, how they're playing with the games, because they have to give more of an attacking threat in terms of the game if they want to stay in this league. If you allow teams to take over like this and you don't even show an idea of trying to attack, then that's a problem. That's a problem. And I feel like if that doesn't change, they're going back right back down. Ipswich Town is the only team that seems like right now of the team that has come from the relegation that they're ready to fight and try to prove something that they can achieve in this season. And I just wonder how far that can go. But I want to know your thoughts in the comment section over this game. What did you think? And as a Brentford fan, who actually impressed you the most? Because yeah, things are happening, people. Things are happening. Fulham versus Ipswich finished 1-1 as Ipswich were able to fight, was scored an early goal in the game. Then Adama Traore scored the second goal at 32 minutes. Then from then up to the end of the game, they were all challenging each other. They were all pushing each other and all like that. I told you, the home ground for Ipswich is gonna be important for how far they go this season. Because I see them scoring so many goals at their home ground. I see them causing chaos in their home ground. I see them attacking and trying by all means to take advantage of all the openings that happens. And I think that's what we saw in this game. They took so much advantage. They were putting pressure and they were trying by all means to have advantage over this game. And I think they should have done something at the end of the day, because if you look at the stats, they were all 4-4, but they had 11 shots. To convert more of those 11 shots to on target, it's a different game. It's a different game. In terms of course, position was controlled by Fulham because of course they're the ones in the Premier League. But it doesn't mean that Ipswich were asleep in this game. They show that they are there to fight. They show that they really want to achieve something. And I think you have to put some respect to them really in terms of how they approach this game. It's important to understand that it's not an easy one, but they showed that there's something amazing to offer. And that's exactly what they did. So that was it. It finished 1-1, as well as Leicester versus Aston Villa, one of the games that I told you I only saw Aston Villa winning this game. I did not see it this close like it was, but I saw Aston Villa winning this game. It finished 2-1, but I think they should have scored so much. They had 5 shots on target. Should have been different. They were running around with the game. Leicester City were given more position of the game. They were controlling the game, but they just could not break down the team of Aston Villa. And the one thing that you have to understand, as much as you have control of the game, if you don't score the goals, it doesn't matter whatever you do. It doesn't matter who you are and how you approach the games. If you don't finish your chances, if you don't finish your dinner, then you've lost the game. And that's exactly what happens to this team that we call Leicester. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. What did you think of their performance? How did you see them attacking? And what do Leicester need to do to at least take advantage of the fact that they're playing with teams, but they're not taking advantage and winning games? What do they need to do? Also, we saw this team that we call Wolves drawing against Nottingham Forest. Maybe that defeat against Chelsea, which was a 6-0, affected them that much. Maybe that's why they bought a player to play the DM position, but they should do better. They need to be doing better, because I actually thought that they had more to actually beat this Nottingham Forest team, but look at how even the position in terms of everything that happened, they were all in the second side of the game. They were all being dominated, this Wolves team. And you worry about that. They have to do better. They have to do better if they want to have an opportunity to stay far. I think this is the only other team that hasn't actually picked up a points, Wolf, in this season. And in fact, this is their first point. I think it's 1 point at the moment. That has to be better. They should have won this game. They'll live to regret chances like this. But anyway, they are in the season, and this is a bit harsh, but that's the truth. It's finishing the Premier League. So maybe I'm actually looking for so much out of them when they're just trying to survive and remain in the Premier League. We move. That's what I will only say, people. We move. We move. As we look at the other games which were played, we have Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. Crystal Palace versus Chelsea was one of those games where you think Chelsea has the upper hand. Chelsea should be winning the game. Chelsea should be doing everything. Chelsea are dominating the game. Chelsea are all over the team, but yet they fail to win the game. And it doesn't matter whatever you're gonna do, how much you think you're dominating the game. If you don't take advantage of the opportunities you're creating, if you don't finish the chances that you're creating, then you will not win the game. Nicholas Jackson scored a goal. I think that's his second of the season. He's looking lethal at the moment this season in this tournament, in this Premier League. After 3 games already with 2 goals, that's good. Cole Palmer with an assist again in this game for that goal from Nicholas Jackson. I remember being said, I think he's had 4 assists now. That's some serious things that he's doing. This young kid, he's showing people that he's still the best that is there out there. So it's exciting to see what is happening. But I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. What did you think of the performance of Chelsea? Because they did not win the game, and it doesn't matter what you do. If you don't win the game, you have not actually done anything in this fixture, especially in the Premier League. You need to win your games, and they did not do that. And hence, that's why the game finished the way it did. But one thing I want to hear from you guys: what exactly do you think Maresca will be doing now to try and get the best out of the teams, to try and make it better for him to take advantage of all the opportunities that he's creating, and how much he can do better to win the games? Because I feel like that's what has to change. He has to find the best way to make sure that this team tick from the back going forward and take advantages of the opportunities that are created so that he wins the games. What does he need to do? Let me know in the comment section. What does he need to do? Anyway, we're going to move on from this one, people, because I think we saw everything that we saw. It was way much clear that Chelsea was the better of the 2 teams, but they just did not take advantage of that. Click the like button, subscribe to the Connect as we move on to the second and I think the last of the week's games, which is, of course, Tottenham Hotspur versus Newcastle. If there's any game in the Premier League that always gives you goals, according to Opta, it's Tottenham versus Newcastle. In fact, I'm going to be showing you something right now after that, because you'll be surprised. There are always goals in this fixture. Whether anything happens, there are always goals in this fixture. So I will show you that. I've already set it up. What did you think of this game? Tottenham fans, what did you think of this game? Goals were scored the same way that they've been scored under Ange Postecoglou. Players takes advantage of the way you defended, the way you approach the games, hit you on the counter, scores the goal. And that's exactly what they were doing here. You had, at some point, control of the game, I think. Yes, you had control of the game in the points. Shots on target, 20 shots, but you were not taking advantage of that. Passes, tackles, everything was on Tottenham's side. Everything, as you can see, they were all bold. Yet we are here to talk about how they lost the game. So Newcastle were comfortable with them dominating the game and allowing them to have the ball, but making sure that as much as they have the ball, it doesn't hurt them at all. And I think that's one of the things that I've noticed this week from so many teams and so many games that were played. All the teams were comfortable to allow the other team to have opportunities to control the game. Yet when the clash moments matters, they make sure that they won the game. And I think that's exactly what happened in this game as well. So I'm curious. I want to see how the pass map of this game was like. I want to see how the successful passes, exactly where the dominance of this Tottenham Hotspur was actually at, because it doesn't make sense. So I'm going to be putting my chalkboard again back. And I want you guys to let me know in the comment section in terms of distribution, what was wrong with this Tottenham squad and why did they not win the game. I'm going to remove Newcastle there. Let me put it on the screen. I don't want it to be all the full game. I just want to see from the first half to the second half. First half to the second half. Hey, so many chances that we're not leading into something, something special from Tottenham Hotspur. And I think you have to worry about that, because you have to take advantage of an opponent if you're controlling the game, if you're moving the game. And I'm seeing here, as I'm looking at this, some of the opportunities that they were creating, they just could not lead into something. So look at this. And this is really important. This is how Tottenham Hotspurs look like in their XG. This is exactly how they looked like. They just could not do anything. This was in the first half. Look at how many failed attempted passes, unsuccessful passes that they were creating in the game, which means in all the position that they have, they were being controlled. And look at this, and I think this is really important. They're still in the first half. This is where they're scoring Tottenham Hotspurs. And I'm going to try to remove the unsuccessful passes in terms of that heat map and that chalkboard, because it's really important. It gives us an idea and understanding over how they were controlling the game and everything that was happening in the game. This is how it was. They were all in control, dominant. And you wonder, how did they always lose focus, Tottenham Hotspurs, after having an amazing start, showing that they were actually performing well? How do you find this team losing control over the games? Let's move on to the second half, how they disappeared and how maybe something changed in the second half, which does not make sense. Look at that. And it's really difficult to even say something, because all the chances that they were creating, all their movement. Look at where Tottenham Hotspur's game was played. Remember, Ange Postecoglou likes to play those two players who comes in, the inverted fullbacks. They invert both of them. They always try to crowd the middle of the park to take advantage, to have numerical control of the players in the game, and they did that to perfection. Yet, look at that. They were all in control. They did not win the game. Why did they not win the game? Because Newcastle were intelligent people. And I'm going to show you now what Newcastle had to do, which is really important in terms of what we saw from Newcastle. Let's put Newcastle's numbers while removing the Tottenham ones. Newcastle did not even have to dominate the game. They just have to have a clear plan. They know they have lethal attackers, players who will finish the chances that they create, the likes of Isak, the likes of Harvey Barnes, the likes of Anthony Gordon. All those players, when they get a chance to actually take advantage of a game, they will finish those chances. And that's what Newcastle only had to rely on. They only had to rely on those ones to take advantage of that. And that's exactly what they did. Because look at that. This was their first half. They were not even in control of the game. More into defending here and quick passes, taking advantage of this left side where Harvey Barnes was running around and trying to take advantage of that spaces and making sure that the right passes are passed. And look at some key passes that Lord Carey did, which was one, and it led into something. So set pieces was the master of their game. Look at how they did it in the second half. So when you look at these types of games, you try to analyze, you'll be like, okay, how am I here talking about a Tottenham Hotspurs lose while they were in control from start to finish of this entire game? How did they lose it? But yet you look at things like this. It's still the same. They are not in the game, this Newcastle team. Look at how many unsuccessful passes that they actually created in this game. Look how many unsuccessful passes. Yet they picked up 2 points. Another passes from Murphy. The important passes which led into goals, that were just hitting on the long balls, taking advantage of the long balls, because Tottenham Hotspurs were running around the whole entire game. And that's how they won the game, people. That's how they won the game. And one person has to come out here and try to make sense of all these things and say that, okay, so I have an idea how Tottenham Hotspurs, and I'll be like, I have no idea, because all the numbers are telling us that Tottenham Hotspurs should have won this game. All the numbers we are looking at are telling us that Tottenham Hotspurs should have won the game, yet they didn't. These are the problems that you're going to see every single time when it comes to Spurs. They will have an advantage, but if they don't have a finisher, there is a problem there. The other thing that maybe I might not have actually have shown some justice to this team, they did not have Dominic Solanke. Maybe Solanke, if he had gotten so many of the chances which were created, maybe so many goals would have been scored. If maybe Son was playing at that number, the 1-9 position which he played last week, so many goals could have been scored. But somehow Ange Postecoglou thought he should play around with these dots and change everything around, and it opened up this team. They just could not finish up their chances. So many balls that passed in front of the goalkeeper, of Newcastle, but not all of them were actually going into the back of the net. Not all of them were going at the back of the net. So I'm going to show you an interesting history about these two teams, which maybe makes sense why they had to be a loser at the end of the day, which I did not even know, by the way. So according to Opta, this is what they're saying about this fixture when it comes to Spurs and Newcastle. They say that none of the last 80 meetings between Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspurs have been goalless. It's only the 7th fixtures in the top flight history to go 80-plus game in a row without a 0-0. We can always rely on Tottenham Hotspurs and Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspurs to entertain us. And the game week 3, of course, meeting at St. James Park did not disappoint. Eddie Howe side enjoyed a 2-1 win to keep up their unbeaten start to the campaign, while Spurs suffered their first league defeat of 2024-2025. By the way, it took Ange Postecoglou around 11 games to actually experience his first defeat in the Premier League last season. So you can see how now people understand the way he plays and taking advantage of the weaknesses of Tottenham Hotspurs, which literally refuse to go away. They refuse to go away, the weaknesses of Tottenham Hotspurs. This is the 8th consecutive league match between Newcastle and Spurs to see at least one goal scored with no 0-0 played out between the two clubs in the league competition since the 18th of August 1971. 1971, people. Nobody even knew I was going to be here on this earth. In fact, I think that could be almost the year my father was born. Oh, imagine. 80 games without a 0-0 is a lot, but it's not the most across English top flight history. Six fixtures have seen a longer run without a goalless draw. Chelsea, West Ham, 94 in a row, holding that record, a run that is still ongoing up to now. So that's an interesting one. People. There's also Leicester versus Tottenham Hotspurs, as well as Aston Villa versus Everton. We also have Arsenal versus Sheffield versus Sheffield Wednesday, Aston Villa versus Newcastle, as well as the new one, Newcastle versus Tottenham. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section, people. What do you think of all the games which were played this week in the Premier League? Who for you was the best game of the week, and what are you expecting coming to the international break when we come back with football? What are you expecting? Who should be running the show, and what can you see happening? Before I go, we need to do a Demo Gallagher bit. We need to look at what has happened over the Ref Watch. Let's look at the Ref Watch and all the controversial, maybe not controversial, or maybe the decisions which had to be made by the referees, or maybe the VAR. So let me put that on X. We got to Dale Johnson, who always keeps us updated with everything that is happening. So here's your Monday VAR. This is your Monday VAR, what decisions which were made here. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts here in the situation, because the red card of Declan Rice is still the one that is dominating the Twitter spaces, or even anywhere, as so many people feel like the referee should have used the common sense. What does that mean? According to the rest of the world, the common sense, it means the referee should not have given Declan Rice the yellow card, even though knowing that he was already on the yellow. That's what people call common sense in football nowadays. That's what people call common sense in football nowadays. I did an analysis over the Declan Rice red card, people. It's still on the Football Connect. Go check it out. You actually understand why maybe this deserves to be a red card. And as much as it's still a controversial topic to cover, it has already happened. That's the only thing I can say. It has already happened. And in terms of that, you have to give some respect to the referees, because that was a difficult decision to make, but he made a correct one. Vectorman's challenge. So Vectorman's challenge, this is the guy who by the way, almost got who was supposed to get the red card if Declan Rice was not given the red card because he had kicked Declan Rice. So that's the challenge as well. So many people are saying that why did not get the red card. That challenge only happens because Declan Rice takes the ball out of the game. If he doesn't do that, then there is no anything like that. He was gonna kick the ball, and maybe the referee was gonna say retake because the ball was moving. The fact that Declan Rice pushed it away, that's where the challenge and they kicked him actually happens. Explaining kicking the ball away, that's what has been one of the things that which has been dominating social media. People are saying that he nudged. Some people are saying he did not even touch it, Declan Rice. Somehow I'm hearing some of the weird, controversial things that I've ever heard from people who actually says that they understand football. That's the only thing I am saying. I'm hearing some weird stuff. It does not make sense. Oh, Salah's offside. So the other decision which had to be made by VAR was the first goal that Liverpool scored. Trent Alexander-Arnold scored, but it was disallowed because Salah was not in line with Luis Diaz or the ball. Or not really Luis Diaz, but the ball when the cross was taken by Luis Diaz. And he tried and he reached the ball a bit, which deemed him offside. I think that was a correct call. I don't know what you guys think. I think that was a correct call, and I think that they deserve to actually do that. The other one, De Ligt's red card. So I think around the 60-something minutes, there was a crazy tackle on Luis Diaz from De Ligt. And I wonder that maybe Anthony Taylor was really being kind to Manchester United. The reason why I'm saying he was being kind because that should have been a red card. You can never do such a crazy tackle and not get booked. I don't think he even got a yellow card, to be honest. So that even makes it worse. Let me actually look at that while I'm still talking to you here. I don't think he even got a yellow card. Or maybe he does. I don't know. Let me just check. No, he does get a yellow card. But if you actually look at that, VAR should have gotten into that situation and given that into a red card. The red card was into consideration, and I love that the fact that it has been highlighted, because so many people were never going to look at that and just move on like everything is okay. Cody Gakpo's penalty late in the game. There was a tackle from, who was that? Was that Dalot or somebody? Oh, I think it was Mazraoui who took out Cody Gakpo. And people thought that should have been a penalty because he was now in the 18 area. But the VAR deemed it as Cody Gakpo coming into the challenge. So they're saying that he threw himself into the challenge, which means that it's not actually supposed to be what? A penalty? I don't know. You tell me, people. You watched the game. You saw what we saw. Was that supposed to be a penalty or not? As a Liverpool fan, of course, maybe all the Liverpool fans don't really care because we were winning the game. We are already in planet excitement. So I don't know what you guys think of that. Dunk, handball from Dunk, Louis, Stenhood, and Hoods. I don't know. Jamie Vardy's goal. Why is it in that one? Did Vardy score a goal which was disallowed? Or maybe did Jamie Vardy had a goal which was controversial? That's what I want to know. Let me know in the comment section. No, I think Jamie Vardy scored a goal which was disallowed, people, because I do not see it here. I did not see the game between Aston Villa and Leicester, but it seemed like he scored a goal which was disallowed. Then maybe there must have been a decision. So let me know in the comment section, the Leicester fans, what do you think of that decision? So these are all the controversial topics which were there and were covered in the Premier League. Want to hear what your thoughts were and what you think about all the things that happened in this week. And don't forget to go click the like button. Don't forget to go subscribe to the Football Connect. The best way you support us, people. We have just covered an entire 1 hour, 20 minutes of this game, this quick review, giving you all the analysis and all the accesses that we saw in this Monday going into, as I'm looking at my clock, it's actually on a Tuesday morning now. All the things went so well. All the games played so well, but I'm excited. You people are going to watch this on the replay on Facebook, I think, which is going to be tomorrow. I'm going to do a live stream just re-shooting this one. Don't forget to click the like button. Go check out the Football Connect. The link is there in the bio. Go subscribe, people. Support us here, people. It's not easy to do what we're doing, so your support is really guaranteed. Your like button, your subscription, and everything that you do. It's always weird that maybe you have to go and talk to people who are watching you on a daily activity, that when you subscribe, stay subscribed, people. Because I'm not going to change. I'm going to keep giving you my thoughts the way I see it, giving you the analysis that we gave you in this video. We will always be covering a lot on the Connect, but we are into the international games. Of course, I'm going to be doing some analysis of some of the games that which were played, giving you some news which we need to know in the international break. But from now, football and me, we are going to take a break. Was it a deserved break? I can wonder. But there will also be some topics. Remember, I need to redo my predictions of the season, who I think will finish higher or whatever that is going to happen. We have to. We must. It's a must, people. It's a must. But click the like button, subscribe to the Football Connect. Go also do that same thing to the Football Connect LFC. It's appearing here on the screen. Just click that button. You would have already subscribed to the Football Connect LFC. Thank you very much for watching. I've been your host, Sam. I will see you on another one. Like that vid, subscribe to that vid, and we're out. Peace. Subscribe. Beats
the goalkeeper. They're just lost for words. He is just brilliant. Georgie Best, Diego Maradona, Johan Cruyff.